see here. Let's see if it'll load up. Honestly, I don't know if it's... Oh, yep. Okay. Is everything running yet? I think everything's just now starting. I'm waiting for everything to load on my end. If it's actually running yet, I think it is running because the chat just appeared. I'm waiting for the control panel to finish up loading up. Let's see here. Oh, yep. Okay. So I guess it's having an error with like. Okay. So it's just airing out. It's fine. I don't need that anyways. Well, here we are. It's been a while since I've live streamed at all. This is the first in a little while I've streamed. I ended up starting a job, so I'm set on that a lot more. Trying to get things going and moving. And I found this game, purchased it about a week ago, or a few days ago. Yeah, I've gotten more and more into it, and I decided to start trying to stream some of what I'm doing in it. And so what I have going on now... Oh, here we went. Okay, so what I have going on now is this Ford. What I'm going to be doing to it is I have a junkyard engine. I got two of them. And I have a junkyard blower and carburetors for that blower. I'm going to supercharge an engine, probably cam it and everything else. So it's going to be really high end. And this is kind of a racer type of truck I've kind of put together. It was a work truck, but then I ended up building this thing to be a work truck. So that does all the lifting. This is a racer. And so I'm just going to start getting on it because I want to get this done before I have to go to sleep because I got work in the morning. So right now I'm actually just tearing the engines down to nothing and taking all the good parts from both of them, and then from there I'm going to pick whatever's good and start building them together. That's how I've been doing this for a long time. And that's not good. And some of these parts, even if they're rusty, they're still fine. But the issue is that because they're rusty, their life has been drastically reduced in the game. So I can't really just use it. I just won't touch it because, as in this, so the engine and the work truck used to be in this truck. And while I was driving this truck one time, the intake manifold ended up turning rusty, and at the same time, it would not run at all, barely. It could start and idle, but any throttle, it would just die. And I ended up looking at it and figuring out this was rusty, changed it out, ran just fine after that. So, when they're rusty, at any moment, it's either they're bad or they're good. It's a huge risk. So I just don't risk it. Definitely if I build it, the engine brand new. And I think that even goes for like the pistons. If they're rusty, definitely don't use them. And that's why I have two of them, because my idea usually is to try getting, hopefully in the two junkyard engines, it's cheaper to try getting two junkyard engines and slapping and making one good engine instead of purchasing all new parts for it. And that's good. And surprisingly, on this engine, usually on the engines, it's always the heads are the ones that are bad, but this time it's actually more of the lower end of this block and the other one. We'll probably have to buy a whole new block because this one's rusty and that block's rusty, and I don't think I have a extra because I just ended up selling a bunch of things, and I had a truck pretty much explode into pieces. It was some glitch that popped up, and the cab for the truck I did have ended up exploding into a lot of pieces. So there's this that's part of that, and that's the bottom end of that, or what was the bottom end. This is the actual, oh wait, no, this is the bottom end of that one. That's the carpet from the other truck I just fixed up. Anybody who plays this game, if you want a big tip, the best way of making money I've learned into this game is just purchase a truck that is a little rusty and has a rough paint to it. Make sure it has decently good body work, and even that, you could use a hammer and just hammer all the dents out of it as best as you can and get the rust off with the the grinder, or what I purchased was the sand blaster. It's worth it 100%. It's expensive, but it's so worth it. And just sandblast the rust off the truck and repaint it, and it is like the easiest way to make money. It really is. Honestly, it doesn't really take much effort. I mean, you do gotta put some effort into it, but it's easier than entirely building a new car, because in this game it seems that, as in, a lot of the parts really don't matter as much. I mean, if they're missing, that's the only reason why the price for it would go down. But, as in, if you, you really just don't need to build it. There we go, that's out. After I throw all this stuff out, I'll just look at it, see if it's good, what's bad, and then make a bad engine pile and a good engine pile. Like, this engine's just shot. Pretty much 90% of it that's on the engine, 90% that's on, or here on the engine, it's all bad. It really is. This entire engine's really just bad. I honestly shouldn't have gotten it. There we go. There's the block. It's bad. I'm just gonna throw it away. It was just any of these engine parts, just any parts entirely, don't throw them away. You can keep them, and then there's a place down the road from this place, and you can turn in the parts. There's a chance that block's just fine, but I'm not risking it. This engine is going to be a performance engine, which means honestly, I don't know if this game works like it. I haven't played it long enough to know for sure, but when an engine has a lot more power, a lot more RPM, a lot more torque, it's way easier for it to throw a rod. And so the more performance you have on an engine, the more you want to get new parts for that engine. This one looks like it has better parts on it than the other one does. We got that. Okay, so just trying to look around, see what's going on. Ooh, has a good fuel pump. That's good. Honestly, I don't think the fuel pump will be able to do anything or make much of a difference. And the reason why I think that is because there's performance fuel pump, and if there's not enough fuel getting to the engine, with as much power as we probably will have, it's not going to be able to fuel this engine that we're building. Well, I'll have to get me a performance mechanical pump for the new engine. And the carburetors, I just keep them. I don't get rid of them. Because it seems like, I bet you that's probably the common thing to go bad. And if I have enough money, usually I'll just keep spare engine parts. But I try not to do it too much, because in even real life, honestly, I have that problem of just keeping engine parts. And it's just a mess when you keep too many. And I've definitely kept too many. That's actually kind of partly the reason why I haven't really recorded too much with my projects, is that I'm trying to figure out a clean spot that I can do it without a bunch of parts just laying everywhere in the background. But I haven't had the time to actually clean up a ton of stuff and everything. I barely have enough time to even play the games anymore, but that's what I'm doing right now. Go ahead and remove this oil pan. Actually, no, I'm going to rotate it. And I love these engine stands. They're so much better. The good news is, I think, yeah, both crankshafts have all good parts, really. And I think possibly the next stream on this video, or this game, I think I'm actually going to try to get it's abandoned vehicle, like a barn find in this game. And if I can find that, I don't have to buy it or anything for the game. And I'll see if I can get my hands on it in the game and get it and see if we can fix it. It probably doesn't even have any parts on it. My favorite part about doing these engines, I think, is kind of funny. I love how when you loosen these, they literally just fly out of the cylinder. Luckily, that's not a thing in real life, where I'm pretty sure I would be dead by now. This crankshaft is bad. So, like, this crankshaft, I would definitely not ever use this in 100 years. I would never use that crankshaft. I bet you that would not last long at all. Especially for the bearings on that thing. Perfect. The crankshaft. Bye-bye. Let's go ahead and get the piston. There's one piston. Get this gear out. This is bad. Based off the scratches on it, it's just bad. I'm gonna get different plug wires for this engine. Come on. For some reason, I guess there's a thing where with the plug wires, you can't actually grab them holding a wrench, and that always gets me. And also, I think it's anything you can remove like that type of deal. So if you can remove it without a tool, you cannot be holding the tool to physically remove it. Now this cam gear we have to get out, I think, because the reason why is because we are using a more aggressive cam lobe, and I have absolutely not a clue of how to remove the thing, because I have not yet done that in the game. I'm thinking it's either you pry it out or anything, but in real life, you take like a mallet. Worst case scenario, if it's like stuck and you cannot get it to move side to side, you get like a mallet and you can hammer it out on one side, and you can hammer it out of like either the front or the back. It depends on the block. And I'm talking about like as in small engines. That's in one way to do it. Or not always small engines. Small engines usually have it on the inside and it runs off straight off the crankshaft with a gear type of mechanism type of deal. It's not like bigger engines. That's not the pry bar. Where is this pry bar at? Like, all these are. I don't even know why I have 2 screwdrivers. I have no clue on how in the world I got 2 screwdrivers. Let's see here. It's probably out here somewhere. Wouldn't be too surprised. Oh, yep. There we go. Right there. Okay, see if I can. Oh, yep. There we go. Just took some prying. Now I'm probably going to keep that because it's still a good crankshaft, or what looks to be a good one. I honestly can't exactly tell. Not with that. It's like, it's not completely black, but it's also not it's also not. Come on, there you go. Just gonna remove this entirely and buy a new one. And I'm gonna get the V8 removed to all cars. V8 5.6 block, yes. There we go. $1,000 down the drain. Let's see here. So we need a manifold that can handle this. That's not the. Should be just a big hole in. Oh, yep, there we go. Blower scoop, crankshaft pulley for the blower. Have to buy that. Air blower filter. I think I'll just get the scoop. Buy that. I think that might be everything right there. Let's see here. I don't know if I have to have that. I'll buy it anyways. But if I have that, I don't know if that will go in it. I think it might. And then, rockers. Need that, so buy that, buy that. Buy another one. Oh, man. Man, that's a lot of money. I'm gonna be broke pretty quick, am I? I can say it's the funnest thing in the game. Watching your money just drain the moment you have a new project. Well, there's our pile of parts. Isn't it beautiful? Got 15,000 pistons. We might as well just buy a whole new engine by this point. I think we pretty much did. 90% of this is not going to be used. Because I actually did not know there's... Like, I did not know every single part what had a performance model for it. I did not know that. I had no clue. I mean, I don't think any of those have a performance variant, but pretty much everything internal has a different variant. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building it, because, well, that's the first step. And I'm hoping this thing sounds good. It might, or it might not. That does not look like it's in. There's no way that is in. Is that in? There's no way. I've never seen... I'm pretty sure it's not in. Is that really in? Yeah, that's in. Honestly, that to me, for some reason, does not look like a normal sitting position for these. Maybe it is. You know what? Let's get an old block and look at it. There's the front and there's the back. Okay, maybe that is. Yeah. I guess it is actually the sitting position. I guess if I look at the middle ones, they are aligned. It's just the side ones that don't seem to be perfectly in there. I swear I remember when you look at an engine, that should be in the block. That's the bearing, I think. Or what would normally be like a bearing surface. And the same for this end. So it would normally have a bearing surface going on to it. Okay, so now I guess we gotta get the crankshaft performance variant and get that in there. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell something's different with this crankshaft, which honestly would make a lot of sense. This truck better be fast. Honestly, I hope I don't blow the tranny in that truck. Cause if I blow the, I wouldn't be surprised if this game has a blowing function where if your engine's too powerful and it blows the tranny, I would not be surprised if that blew the tranny right out of that truck. Or the diff, because the diff is a stock diff. Maybe it'll have like the true 70s Ford F100 diff where they're extremely tough. I think it's either the 70s or the 60s model of the Ford F100 that had a diff that they started using in NASCARs. Because the diff was the casing, at least. The gear wasn't the big deal. It was the casing that was such a big deal because you could throw anything at it with torque and it would not strip the casing. And it's pretty cool how, and honestly, it's actually probably one of the most simpler designs. As in, if you look at some of the 70s ones, they look more simpler than a lot of different ones that exist nowadays. And the ones nowadays, a lot of them just strip out the moment you try putting more power through them and everything. It just cracks that casing right in half. Get this done as well. There we go. Good, that nicely done. Okay, let's see here. Now we got. That's the. Okay, that's the crank for the blower. Let me see if there's heads that are performance, which I doubt there is, because even like there are performance heads, but that's for more compression, which is those pistons are probably the same way. They probably add compression. That's why there's a performance variant. Let's see here. Get this one. I'll probably get the spark plugs. I'm guessing there's a performance version of the spark plugs. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm happy I thought about that in my head. Forgot the gasket. Oh. Luckily, out of those engines, we got 2 good gaskets, but that didn't really save us much money. Not compared to what we ended up having to spend. I mean, the good thing is I got plenty of parts for the trucks. Other than this engine, everything inside this engine's gonna, if it blows on the inside, anything on the inside, it's already shot. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, I see what's going on here. one side done. Now I'm not even going to worry about the spark plugs at the moment. I'm just going to get it done, and then I'll put new ones in it. Oh man, the other day, like about 2 days ago, when I started the game, I built an engine for that truck. This was the first time I had the engine in it, and I was trying to start it up. I knew I had fuel, air, and that I knew of spark because I had the spark wires on it. I had the wires on the engine, so I was like, it has to have spark, and it had electrical grounds and everything connected, and it still would not start, and I couldn't figure it. I think I spent almost an hour trying to figure it out, and I was so pissed when I figured out that apparently the wires were covering. Okay, so every spark plug, I took them all out and never put one in. So I had no spark plugs, but I had the wires on. So in that moment, I felt like I was a genius. There we go. Got the good old heavy duty valves in here. Okay, so now we got the heads on. It's time for this. Isn't that beautiful? Magnificent. I feel like I'm speedrunning this. And also, I am extremely excited to see if this truck can handle this, and see how fast I can push this truck to go. See if I can even take it into control, or take control over this truck, because this truck does not drive straight at all. And there's always a problem where it likes to really badly drift very randomly to a different size. I think the alignment's out, and so in that case, I had this all front end replaced like yesterday was when I did it, and I already blew out every light. It's now no longer square, it's more rounded. And also, it seems to love to lose its brakes, and it's never had good brakes. So it'll go, but not really stop, and that's kind of the question on this engine, is I'm not going to have much of a stopping capabilities in this pickup. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get the timing gear and everything done. Where do I have a new one? I don't even know. Honestly, I don't think this thing had a good timing gear on either of these engines. So we'll have to get a new one. There's a flywheel, crankshaft. I don't think there's any good one of those either. There we go. Get the sprocket for the... There we go, right there. Get this... Oh, no. Come on. Please? I think this is probably in the way, yeah. There we go. Got this done. Okay, now it's just time for the chain. Get that on. Now get the cover, put it on there. Okay, so now I guess I'm gonna put this on it. Is there a pulley? Yes, there is. Sweet. Get this crank pulley on. Oh, come on. There we go. And welcome to the live stream. Let's see here. I think everything's on now. It's just the fuel pump, which is, I'm gonna see if there's a performance variant of the fuel pump, because if there's not, then I can use that fuel pump. But if there is, I have to probably buy it. There's the original fuel pump. I can buy brand new. I actually will have to buy one of those because I don't have a new one that will work for this engine. I don't think there is a... Maybe, I swear there was actually a performance fuel pump. Possibly, maybe not for this engine in particular. Distributor. There's the coil, oil filter, piston starter, water pump, engine fan. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think there is a performance variant fuel pump. There's a turbocharger. That'd be honestly sick to have, but honestly, in my opinion, I think a supercharger is better. I mean, it probably doesn't sound as good to me. I think honestly a turbo sounds better, but the what do you call it? Just kind of like lost my thought. All of a sudden, I seen something and I was like, just completely lost what I was thinking. Okay, so now it's time to get the... I'll go ahead and get the thermostat cover on. Now it's, I think, about time for the actual supercharger. And then we'll have to get an alternator, because I don't have one of those for this. All the old cars in this game, when you get it out of the junkyard, there is never an alternator, I swear. Actually, before I get that supercharger on, I'll also get one of these, or the performance distributor, on first, so it's a little easier. And actually there's a coil too I need to make sure I get. This is called My Garage. It's a PC game, and you can find it on Steam. It's about $20, and it is really like my summer car. Let's see here. Oh wait, that's ignition coil. There should be a performance variant, or maybe not. Usually in like normal engine building, there should be always like a performance variant for the coil to send a higher voltage to the spark plug. And that's why there's usually better cables and spark plugs. Is because the regular ones get hotter from just the amount you're putting through it. Well, time for the supercharger. The almighty supercharger. There we go. Time to put the carburetor on. And by the way, oh, it's literally called... Yeah, it's the name of it, honestly, I thought was pretty funny. When I figured out myself, it was actually called straight My Garage. Okay, and that's for a turbo. Let's see here. So we got now the pulley. This thing's a beauty. I'm hoping I got the right one, because this is my first time trying to pull this off. And I have absolutely no clue. I'm guessing it's not the right one. It might honestly just need a belt. It already looks like it has like some sort of pulleys. Oh, yep, I forgot about that. Okay, yep, it goes straight on there. Okay, and everything has to be changed because none of that's lighting up. Think it'll work? Let's see here. So I'm gonna have to get me I'm guessing there has to be either there's better pulleys or okay, so we have this water pump. I'll just buy that and see. There's a pulley. And I think I'm starting to figure this out a little bit. Let's see. So that's the alternator. Let's see if this bolts up. Okay, if this bolts up to this, which is, I honestly, in my opinion, I don't think it will. There's probably like a whole front casing for this engine. Nope, it will not. Yeah, so we're gonna have to get a whole different one. Let's see if we can figure this out. Oh wait. I don't think that's for this engine. Here, let's actually do the V8 version of this. Okay, here we go. That's right. Okay, I think maybe we got everything. I think the water pump has to be, though. Put on it. Actually, no. I think okay, yeah, I remember how some of this works now. I just popped in my head. There's two separate belts for usually the supercharger. We just have to get a new crank pulley. There we go. And now we should be able to put the new belt on. And then we'll have to get a different belt. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have to get a whole different belt for the front end. Let's see here. I don't know if it's up here or... Oh, yep, it's up here. Oh. Alternator. And that other alternator down there is not fitting because it's not built for this engine. Oop. Guess get this on here. There we go. Okay, so we got the supercharger, we got the alternator, crankshaft pulley, water pump pulley, alternator. Now we just need to do the valve covers, then the flywheel, exhaust, oil filter. So I'll go and buy that in spark plugs. We're getting there. Okay, so shopping. Oil filter. It's probably at the top for maintenance purposes. Actually, you know what? I remember this. You have to put it on this game for some reason. You have to have it at all engines to access the filter. I think that's maybe something to do with that the fact that all engines usually use the oil filter, the same one. But back to the V8. I think that's possibly all we needed now. What? Does not look right. Maybe maybe that is it. Looks small. It is small. I'm not throwing that away. It's still worth something. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. That's it right there. That's a bigger one. That should be the V8 variant. There we go. So we got that on. Now spark plugs. We'll see if we can buy a performance-based spark plugs if there is any. There probably is performance-based spark plugs. All engines. And there's the wires. Maybe there is actually no... I might have to go all the way to that store across the street to get to it. You know what, I'm going to turn it back to day. There we go. Let's see here. So we have that. Valve covers. I'm going to go and just bolt on the valve covers. Knock out at least one thing for now. Where's that side? Do we have another valve cover? Because I think we only had one, because both of these engines had a bad valve cover on at least one side. Wait, no. Does that have the oil cap? If it does, it means, yeah. No, we don't have an oil cap, so there should be a good one. It's either... I just thought that. Oh, yep, there it is. Yep, it was bad, so I actually was right first time. Let's see here. Oh, valve cover. That. Making it nice and shiny. What? Is this the wrong one? Oh, yep, it is. Luckily, any like bad purchases with the store, I can actually take back to a different shop, and I can have it pretty much just turn it into like a, what do you call those stores? It's like you just take back something you have and they'll give you money for it, usually half or a quarter, and they resell it. But luckily in this game it seems to be that you get if it's like a brand new part, you get 90% of your money back. Even like the parts that seem normally would be a bad idea, it seems to take it. So you usually can get most of your money back. And there is some rare cases where you just don't get your money back with a part, but it's uncommon. There we go. There's that, and there's that. Now, spark plugs. I'm just going to buy a bunch of new spark plugs. I'm just going to buy a whole box if I can't. That's going to suck. Because I know you can buy them individually here in this store. And it sucks to transport them individually. Because, well, small parts like that aren't the greatest thing to bring all the way across the street. I swear I bought like whole boxes of them, but there's a possibility I didn't. Actually there's a cardboard box. I'll just use one of those. It'd be a lot faster if I just grab a like cardboard box. There's one around here somewhere. Ah, next to the trash bin. How common do you think somebody would leave a trash can in their shop? There. Look at all those. 8 spark plugs. Without a cardboard box, I'd be running it back and forth 8 times. Actually, double that. 16. So in total, of running across the street, I'd in one day run across the street 16 times. In real life, that'd honestly be pretty funny to see somebody doing that. I'd hope someone wouldn't take one spark plug at a time. That'd be kind of a... It'd be interesting, the fact that somebody would have that come across their mind. Just pick up one at a time. And I probably really didn't need to buy all new spark plugs. But, I mean... They're not going to fail as often, I guess. Because in this game, if you don't know this... Every part in this game... can slowly degrade and then stop working entirely. And I don't want this engine to either start running rough or just completely stop running entirely when just one part is wrong. It's a kind of a pain to actually figure it out. Especially like in a game. It's a lot harder. Now in real life I mess with a lot of engines myself. And usually if something fails, there's a lot of ways I can kind of diagnose the problem without any computers or anything. But like in a game, that's a whole different situation. Because in a game, you pretty much just replace the part and hope for the best. But in real life, it works way different. If you have your own vehicle, you would fully understand that. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see here. There we go. I'm sorry if the stream is kind of cutting in and out. I live out in the middle of nowhere, so there's a big possibility that it just has moments where it just completely dies. If you can actually comment and see if, and tell me to see if it's running smooth, because I actually have not actually looked if it is. And honestly, it would be great to actually know if it's running fairly smooth. Let's see here. Go get new spark plug wires. There we go. Man, golden spark plug wires. Okay, for the almighty blower. I don't think I can put a filter on it. with the blower. I'm actually not for sure if I can. I doubt I'm able to. Honestly, for a truck, the blower might look a little strange. Actually, I think I do have to have the blower. And then the air filter fits inside. Which honestly is actually what I was hoping for. Probably, yep. I feel like I'm fairly good at guessing where everything would be. There we go. Full supercharged engine. Now it's just time to put the bottom end on here. At least with this. And then I'll be able to put it in the truck and fire it up. It shouldn't take long. And put oil in it, of course, because I don't want to run this thing without oil. Okay, now another set of headers for the opposite side. And then from there, it's ready to go. Sweet. Yeah, literally all I'm missing is headers. And man, this thing is going to be a loud engine. Yeah, I'll figure out if it's the left side or right side. Driver is left, so right side. I honestly don't know if they're like meeting as in like the front side or the... Okay, yeah, I think... Yeah, I'm right. I don't know if, like, by this point, anybody viewing the video will be seeing, because there's no viewers at the moment that I'm seeing, at least on my end. But I don't know how many people severely get annoyed by this little thing. But, like, if you're, like, looking at an engine or something else, and they're, like, it goes on the right side, sometimes it pesters me, as in if it's either they're looking at from, like, the front side or the back side, because you know that, like, switches entirely depending on each side. And that always, like, annoys me to absolute no end. Is, like, if it's one of them situations, if you purchase it, the wrong one, and it just kind of screws you over in like a game or something, and that's why it annoys me so bad, because I'm always worried about doing something like that. So sometimes you literally just have to like hope for the best and send it. Put that on. In real life, when you do something like this, you would normally have a alignment tool, or you can kind of have something that fit in the grooves in the middle of that crankshaft, and then you would slide that clutch plate deal on, and then, or not clutch plate, it's actually just the clutch actual disc itself with like a few springs in it, and then you'll have the actual pressure plate that normally would actually actuate the clutch, and you'd put that on, and the pressure plate is actually more of just a spring. And that's how it is usually. Now this thing is set. All I gotta do is slap it on in the truck. There we go. Oh dear gosh, that looks beautiful. Oh. Does this shut? No, it does not shut. Yeah, so you can tell the hood does not shut over the engine. I'll just have to take off the hood. Which honestly I'm going to do right now, because it'd be a lot easier to work on this truck without a hood. And then we'll have to hook up everything and hope this thing fires right up. And I'm really hoping that the last engine, when it was in this truck, the truck stopped working entirely. And so I slapped it into that truck, and I replaced the intake manifold before I slapped it in that truck. And now that truck runs beautifully. This is my work truck that I use to move everything and deliver things. So that's why there's a tail light out, and both headlights don't work, and there's a missing blinker light, and rust all over the thing, and the interior's completely rotted out. And that's like the most beautiful sight right there, in my opinion. So it's not a nice truck, apparently. It's not like meant to be a nice one. Like, it's even missing the individual reverse lens is missing entirely too. And that one's not supposed to look nice. It's supposed to look like a work truck. This one is really dark black, but it's so dirty it's just like this. And it's even starting to appear rust on it because a cool thing actually in this game, rust progresses on these trucks. So, as in, like, there's bare spots now on this truck, and that's because I haven't cleaned it. I never cleaned this thing. And then the back end of this thing was later added on, and I'm honestly probably going to redo this and get it fixed. And the back is dirty because I put this on top and never cleaned out the back first. I'll probably end up redoing that, and that's all dirty. It's really bad. But it works just fine. Oh, wait. Here's a sign. This is rust starting to appear. That will probably turn rusted here in the next like few in-game days or so. It's gonna take a little while, but over time it will actually get really bad, and this hose will need to be replaced. That's not gonna last long at all. How about the other hose? The other hose is fine. I think this hose is going bad because it's always been getting a little worse. And this truck has also a bent frame, and that's why everything looks misaligned, because everything is misaligned. I don't think the engine fits perfectly straight on this truck. I think the engine's slightly crooked. I noticed that on the last engine that was in it, that it did not sit perfectly straight. So now it's upper hose, I'm pretty sure, for the... Yeah, let's see here. I'm sad that nobody's here, at least watching at this moment, to see me put in this right into the truck. Everybody watched as I was building it, but now nobody's watching. But I hope anybody that actually sees this in the future of me putting it in the truck and seeing it running, hope you enjoy, because that's my favorite part personally, is seeing it start up for the first time. You're able to rev it up and hear the sound of everything. It's the best part. Hey, there actually is viewers being able to see this possibly fire up for the first time. You came in just in time. There we go. And at this moment, we're not exactly firing it up this second. I'm actually putting it in the truck still, but I am not too far from being able to try firing this up for the first time. All I'm doing now is just trying to get this hose replaced, and then I just gotta put the engine mounts on. Upper hose, that's too long. V8, I'm gonna go the 800, or no, the B200. There we go. Get the actual right vehicle selected so we can actually get the right hose, hopefully. And it doesn't filter out the hose. We have to go for all engines and see if that appears the hose. Problems I'm having is that there's too many different hoses, and I don't honestly want to spend a ton of money trying to figure out which hose goes on onto it. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to do exactly what I did not want to exactly do. Get the V8 version. The lower hose, upper hose. right after the engine's running, if we still have brakes in that truck, because honestly, the brakes on that truck never seem to work. But probably even if it doesn't have brakes, I'll probably send it, because I have an e-brake, and I'll probably just hit that after I feel like I should probably stop. You know what? Wait, what's going on here? This is the same as the old one, so that should actually go on there still. Ah, no. Come on. Yep. Okay, what's going on here? Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to hope that it doesn't overheat. Honestly, I don't understand. Because that is the upper hose. And this should be fitting right, but it's not at all. Oh, yeah, I wrecked the truck. That's why it's not fitting like it should. Okay, so that's fine. I'm going to have to just leave that. Let's go ahead and bolt in this trainee. That was an extremely bad lag spike. I think the game did not exactly like figuring out so much power of getting bolted in this truck out of nowhere. Oh yeah, and we forgot a fuel pump. Or I did. Nobody else was even playing with me, so. Here's the fuel pump. I thought I forgot something. I was thinking for a minute before I put it in the truck, and I was like, I swear I forgot something. And turns out I definitely forgot something, and something definitely kind of important. So the thing would have never fired up. And now there's some ignition wires missing. I gotta figure that out before it even will try to fire up. I gotta figure out what's going on with the wires, because I honestly don't understand the fact that there's no wires in this. Okay, there's the wires. Re-put it in there. Is everything now realigned? Question mark? Yes, everything is realigned. Everything should now definitely work. I don't see a fuel line, so I'll have to put a fuel line in here. Battery reconnected. It's a new fuel line, and they'll be ready to fire up. And I don't think, honestly, I'm gonna wait for a new viewer. I'm gonna fire it up. And I guess whoever joins will see this fire up. Fuel line. Because I'm too excited to wait for anybody to join. Because honestly, I've been thinking about this for a few days now for this game. Because I'm actually very interested in seeing how much power this thing will produce with a supercharger. I think it's set and ready. I'm really hoping this thing doesn't blow up, because it will suck if it blows up. And I have absolutely no idea if this thing has brakes. I'm gonna make sure this is on. It's in neutral. No power. Okay, so we are missing something. Or it's the factor we have no gas, because that might be a thing. I know for a fact that when I said that, somebody in their mind, whoever's watching this at some point in time, thought of, I know what's wrong with it, and ain't got no gas in it. I know for a fact somebody is probably now thinking of that. The second, well, now you're definitely thinking about it, but before I even said that, somebody probably thought of that, 100%. Oh my gosh. It just appeared in my mind what I completely just oversaw. I never even thought about it. Not even once, this entire build. The ignition coil, I never put it on. Let's see here. Get this ignition coil and then it'll fire right up. I know for a fact this thing will. Because I know this is the issue. And then after it fires up and everything, I'll have to go and grab me something to eat because I'm starting to get shaky. Let's see here. I think that's it right there. I don't think it is it. Honestly, it makes sense. It's a little small, but it might be it. The coil should fit right here. So, I think there's another coil over here. If it stops running, that's probably, I'm going to try making sure that I remember. Well, that coil actually looks just fine. There's no rust on it. But I'll probably have to look at it, make sure if it stops running, I'll try my best to remember the fact that that ignition coil is one of the only things that are not new on this engine. And I'm not joking, everything's been replaced. Almost literally every single thing on this engine has been replaced. Now, well, let's see this engine. Oh, it's gonna hopefully sound really good. Oh dear gosh. Sounds okay. Honestly, I hope it did sound better, but it doesn't sound as good as I'm hoping. But I get to see how this thing goes. Oh dear gosh. Well, we got power, that's for sure. Oh dear gosh. This thing's very powerful for what this thing is. I am so good right now, this thing. The problem is there's like no brakes on the truck. That's like one of the things. Sadly, you can't see the burnout markers, so you actually can't tell. I know for a fact I'm definitely ripped with this truck. Oh, I killed it. Oh. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. The story behind the reason why this is not running, the last engine that was in it, was the one in that truck that runs perfectly fine. I took it out of this truck why it was not running. I thought it was the intake manifold, and I replaced that because it was rusty. And usually when a part is rusty in this game, on an engine, that it gets like as into a certain point of rust, it usually is bad, and it looked like that, so I got rid of it. And I just figured out it's definitely not that. I think it's the fuel pump, which is back here. Or actually, no, the fuel pump's up here. It's a mechanical fuel pump. So something else is wrong with it. It's going to be hard to say what that might be. I'll have to see if I can figure that out. Maybe it's not exactly the engine, possibly? I'm guessing it's actually... It's not the engine. It sped up really fast. Imagine crashing your own truck at the moment. Yeah, it's having an issue. I wonder if it does it from that. It probably does. Yep, it does. It acts like it's not honestly getting enough fuel. We got a new fuel line. We got a new... Or... It might not even have gas in the tank. Pretty sure it does. But yeah, we got a supercharger in it. Oh. That's not good. How is this thing not blown up? Wait. How's there oil? There should not be oil in this. And anybody that's watching that, the reason why is this is a freshly rebuilt engine, and there was no oil in this engine. Or there shouldn't be, because I didn't add any. I guess it has oil. So that's a huge plus, because the engine probably would have already blown up by now. I know one thing for sure. There's no fan. I honestly don't know if I should actually add one. I'm gonna go ahead and do that though. You know, you gotta do it right sometimes. Sometimes. You don't always have to do it right. You only do it right when you want to. Especially if it's in a game. I know if we're not missing anything. We got everything on this truck that we need. I'm gonna go see if there's actually a hood built for this truck. That's for this. I'm guessing there's probably not. But if there is, hey, that's perfect. Body. See if there's a performance hood cut for it. Okay, there's not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the grinder and see if it actually has the option of cutting a hole into the hood. Because there might be a chance that you can take just the grinder and cut it. Here's the grinder. There we go. Take this wheel, put it on here. Take this. Perfect. And there's no holes I can cut into it. Nope. Nothing. Which kind of sucks, honestly, because that was actually something I was looking forward to. It might, there's a chance I probably won't be able to put a hood on it, because these trucks aren't really actually built for a supercharger. Like, this is something you're not usually supposed to do in this game. I'm guessing the game developer might have thought about it, but it probably was not a thing that he really thought about too much. But yeah, here it is. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It's magnificent. And it's only 2 in the morning, which means I gotta go to bed right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get something to eat real fast and go to bed, and then go to work. And I'll be at work all day tomorrow. So, which is fine with me. But here we are. The supercharger has been complete. It runs terrible. Does not even want to run half the time. But other than that, the truck is here. I have a supercharger in it, and that's what counts. So I'm gonna go and leave it off here. And of course, we have to show something. We have to show that magnificent floor in this work truck. It is beautiful. As you can see, it's pristine. And I don't even see why they have vents in this truck, because honestly, I think this is the vent right here. And so that's my work truck. Actually, here's the old V8. That V8 used to be in that truck. And it actually has a lot of miles on it. That's why I thought it was the intake manifold, because I wasn't surprised if it was, for the fact that that truck has about 500,000 miles, I think, on it in total. The dashboard actually does not show that. It shows as in the mileage that I put on the truck recently from driving it a ton, because I ended up buying a whole new dashboard for it, and it resets the odometer in this game. So I put 202,000 miles on it about, but it had about 300, if I remember right, on the truck. So about 500,000 miles. So it's about 500,000. It's getting there. I'm hoping I can get it there. And it probably needs some frame straightening, and I'm probably going to redo the front end. And then repaint this so it all matches. And I'll probably put some flames on it. More flames, because I have flames here, which actually look to me really nice. I'm probably going to try putting something here or around the hood or something. I think it'd be kind of neat. I don't know about the rear end. And I'll probably put a race logo or something. But yeah, everybody have a good night. Hope you enjoyed the stream or the video, and see you